Welcome to Doing, Being, Thinking, dialectical behavior therapy skills for making a life worth living. I'm your host, Eric Nykamp, a therapist and clinical director at the Grand Rapids campus of Adolescent and Family Behavioral Health Services, a mental health practice with campuses throughout the great state of Michigan. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Doing, Being, Thinking, a podcast exploring the what, when, and how of using dialectical behavior therapy skills for making a life worth living. My name's Eric. I'm a DBT therapist and one of the clinical directors at Adolescent and Family Behavioral Health Services. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the TIP skills, specifically skills that have to do with regulating body temperature. And joining me today is my good friend, Drew, who is another one of the therapists here at AFBHS. How are you doing today, Drew?
I'm good, Eric. Thank you.
We're going to have fun today. So let's start off. What is the TIP skill? How would you explain the TIP skill to people, Drew?
Yeah, so the TIP skill is going to be in the distress tolerance module. And the T stands for temperature. The I is intense exercise. The first P is paced breathing. And the second P is progressive muscle relaxation.
Yeah. So we're going to focus today on tipping the temperature of our face with cold water and intense exercise to calm our body down when it's revved up by emotion. When might people want to use these parts of the TIP skill? Like, when have you used it, or what do you hear from other people about when they use these?
Yeah, I think that it's really when you are in that distressing moment. So if you are ranking your emotions at that 7, 8, 9, 10, being able to notice that your emotions are feeling really overwhelming and you might be at risk of reacting impulsively.
Yeah. I know when I am feeling like that, I don't know what you feel like when you feel like that. I usually notice that my brain is starting to cut out a little bit. Feeling kind of sweaty sometimes or really restless, like I want to move around.
I think it's also not thinking as like logically or clearly.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Which is why I think these ones are helpful in that moment, because you're not having to do much of like changing your perspective. It's just more of changing your physical body and how that feels.
I always think it's interesting. I like to talk with people about their relationships. And sometimes there are these moments where people are describing kind of like the way that they're talking with their partner or whoever they're having some kind of conflict with. And there might be two people who are like really going at it. Like they are both intensely engaging with each other and it's getting nowhere. It's just the intensity level just keeps building and building and building. There's other ones where people, one person wants to keep talking about it, but the other person is like, no, forget it. Like, I really need some time. I need a break. I need to go away. And so like one of them is pursuing and the other one is retreating. And they're like,
absolutely,
we're talking about things. And then there's the ones where both people are kind of like, I don't want to hurt the other person. So instead of actually engaging in conflict, they both just kind of like sense that it's coming and then move in opposite directions.
Yeah.
Just both avoiding. In any of those scenarios, it is not uncommon to notice that your emotions are just going up and up and up, whether it's because you are putting off a conflict or because you're running away from one, or you are trying to engage in something. I don't know about you. Like for me, if I've ever tried to do this, like, have you ever tried to resolve a conflict through text?
Yes.
Does it ever go well?
No, it normally makes it much, much worse because no one knows exactly what the tone is like. They can't see your body
Oh,
language
absolutely not.
and they're reading through the lines that they're reading.
Okay, I've never asked you this before, but like when you send a
great.
really long text,
Uh-huh.
like what emotion might drive it for you if you're going to send like a very, very long text?
Anger.
Anger. Yeah.
Anger.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Mine's going to be anger or hurt. Yep.
Yeah.
When you
And
receive,
normally it just helps to kind of get it out though.
oh yeah, of
And
course.
then it's like, okay, I'm going to delete.
So you have the forethought to delete the text?
Yeah, in a text message, yes, I can do that. In real life, there isn't always that delete button.
Okay. With texting, you're using Wise Mind.
Yes.
I might be occasionally that person that sends very long texts to people. And the feedback I get is that nobody I send those texts to actually reads them. Mm. And they mostly see, well, like, wow, I've exceeded my character limit. And it just lets people know that I'm mad.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to say some stuff that is hurtful or harmful.
Absolutely.
And it probably would have been wiser to try to lower the intensity of my emotions before I did anything in text.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But I imagine there's other scenarios like that too. Can you think of any other ones where people might want to use this skill where, wow, maybe it would be a great idea if you lowered the volume on your emotions before you decided to do something with them?
I think potentially like if you're feeling overwhelmed with like a lot of tasks or things that you have to get done, like whether that be schoolwork, work stuff, or you just have like a lot on your plate.
Mm-hmm. Like talking about things maybe like when you're moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially when you're moving. Some distress tolerance skills might be really helpful. You wouldn't know
anything about that right now, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
That's when you hire movers so that it goes smoothly.
Yeah. So how do people do this skill? How do we use temperature to regulate our emotions or to tolerate distress?
Yeah. So there's a few different ways that you can use temperature, especially cold water, to kind of help calm down your mind and body pretty quickly. So the first thing that you're going to do is really hold your breath and put your face in a bowl of cold water. I always tell clients that have a lot of hair, that might not always be the most realistic, but being able to pull it back or kind of using a cold compress on your face might also be really beneficial too. Mm-hmm. So once you have put your face in that cold water or held like a cold pack on your face, kind of like the eyes, cheeks, then you're going to hold for about 30 seconds.
How come that works?
So I think it's very interesting that, you would think that with cold water that might increase your heart rate. But it actually is going to help decrease your heart rate. There is what's called like a diving response when you are holding your breath. And so it's all about conserving oxygen and slowing down that heart rate quickly.
Yeah. That dive reflex is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every time I think about that, it's very, very cool.
I like explaining this to people as when your body temperature goes down, your moods go down too. Like when people say, especially
Absolutely.
like my hot emotions, it's like,
Hmm.
no, when we cool all that stuff down, like the body pulls the emotions with it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of beautiful.
Yeah. And the way that you're saying that is also making me think of like also taking like a cold shower
A hundred
of
percent.
like kind of everything going down to whether
Yep.
that is like the actual water like on your body.
Yeah. So I went to a seminar once where they were talking about using this coping skill. And they
Hmm.
were talking about some other things that people do. They said, now the goal is not to give yourself frostbite. I was like, oh, this should be good. I can't wait to hear what story this is. But like, if you live in like a snowy climate,
Hmm.
to go outside and like make a snow angel.
Oh, yeah.
And now I think it's also if you're like wearing shorts and a t-shirt. So
Okay.
like you don't want to give yourself frostbite, but you are also going to cool off really fast laying in the
Absolutely.
snow. And you know, that's going to pull your mood down.
Hmm.
Another way to induce the dive reflex that they taught at this conference was if you hold your breath and if you're standing up, the idea is to get your heart um,
Hmm.
to be really low
Okay.
beneath your core. And so you hold your breath and then bend over at the waist so your head is lower than your heart
Okay.
and hold that there for 30 seconds. And so you're not
Interesting.
using temperature, but you are getting that same dive reflex response
Okay.
to pull your mood down.
And that's without holding your breath?
It's withholding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So still
withholding.
holding the
Yep.
breath
Yep.
too. Okay.
The intense exercise one kind of builds on this, where what you're trying to do is you try to heat your body up and then let it cool
Hmm.
off. And it's that same cooling effect that pulls the emotions down. So they would say, like, okay, exercise for a short while, which is probably about 20 to 30 minutes to get your heart rate up, which is kind of
Hmm.
like one of those recommended best practices for leading a healthy life.
Absolutely.
So exercising for 20 to 30 minutes and then waiting 20 minutes and noticing if your mood is lower.
Hmm.
Have you had people use this and then chart it on their diary card?
Yeah, I absolutely have. And I think everyone is consistently shocked
Yeah.
at how it does help decrease the emotion that they were experiencing. I think it's just that initial like hump of let me do this exercise.
Hmm. Hmm. I think this is especially useful for people who tend to work out as a way to cope with their emotions.
Yes.
I was working with someone once where um, they would lift weights, which isn't really cardio, but we talked about like, well, what are you doing when you're lifting weights? And it's like, well, you know, I like get all the frustration out. Okay,
Hmm.
well, if you like went on the Stairmaster or like did a rowing machine or something, also in the gym, like this is supposed to have this effect. You know, do a before and after measure and see if it's actually
Hmm.
true.
Yeah.
And I have also seen people who are like, I think it's cool when you kind of have like a curmudgeon person who's a little grouchy about it, like, yeah, this is probably not going to work, but whatever. I'm going to do the thing my dumb
Hmm.
therapist said to do. And then they find
Yes.
out that it actually helped. They're like,
Works.
I
Yeah.
kind of don't want to admit it to you, but it kind of worked and I might do that again.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think last month I was just in a weird mood and my husband had said like let's go for a bike ride. And I was like,
Mm.
no, I don't I don't want to do that. He's like, no, I think we need to go. And I was like, okay, fine. And it was one of those moments of like, oh yeah, like this does work. This does help. I
What did you
do
notice?
feel just like the lighter feeling. I think you're just kind of like letting go of I think whatever it was that was irritating you or bothering you, you're not focusing as much on that. You're able to, I think, especially being outdoors, like in doing the intense exercise piece, I think that can also bring, looking at the environment, looking at the nature around you, things like that.
I used this skill once. I was visiting a church where somebody that had hurt me attended, and they saw me. I don't think that they knew that they had hurt me. They thought we were cool. I was like, man, if I can even just be in the room, and I saw them there, I'm like, oh no, this is going to be terrible. So they came down and said hi and sat by me. And then I knew when the service was done, they were going to want to come and catch up. Mm. And I started to panic a little bit, like as the service was winding down. So I went to the bathroom and I was like, what can I do? What can I do? Because like my wife really wanted to talk to somebody who was there, and I wanted to just go to the car.
Yeah, you couldn't get out of it.
I couldn't get out of it. So I went in the bathroom and I tried the face in the cold water. I will say that while I was doing that, I was like, I'm really glad that I'm not a woman with mascara on, because like pulling my face out, like I'd have to have worn the waterproof mascara. It did calm me down significantly.
Yeah.
Where I could talk with that person for, 5-7 minutes, catch up, so to speak, and move on. And the panic went way down.
Yeah, so kind of helping you get through that. Yeah, absolutely. So that you don't say or do something that you might regret.
Yes. Yeah. What might get in the way of using this skill?
I think emotions.
Oh, go on. I want to hear more.
I feel like when, you're overwhelmed by your emotions, you're not wanting to always, and I also think a little bit of willfulness of just like, this isn't going to work, or I don't want to.
Yeah, that's right. That sounds like human beings.
Yeah, absolutely. Which makes sense. But I think it's also reminding yourself, it does work. And maybe thinking back to the times too, when it has worked for you in the past.
I can think of, for me, and I'm kind of a low energy person, that willfulness is going to show up as like, yeah, it seems like too much work. But I could also see like, I don't want somebody to see me doing this. If it's like the water on the face thing, I don't want to get my hair wet, get my makeup wet or whatever the thing is. But if you're the kind of person where exercise is kind of a turnoff, I could see the intense exercise piece being difficult. And also maybe a good place to practice if you are trying to practice. What do I do when I encounter my own willfulness and my stubbornness? It is a place where you could practice doing opposite action with willfulness.
Absolutely.
But that takes a lot of, you have to decide. You have to decide it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially if you are feeling those overwhelming emotions, you might not be thinking as logically.
I like how you say you might not be thinking logically.
You just might not. I get it. It probably just isn't there. Yeah. And I think it can be easy to some of like the myths about emotions too in general, or like decreasing those, or what that really means as a whole, might also kind of get in the way of using that.
Yeah. I could also see if you're the kind of person who has exercised too much, either because of like an eating disorder, or you're exercising in such a way that hurts your body, that could also be a bit damaging. So to kind of know yourself, like, are you trying to hurt yourself? or are you trying to lower your emotion? I think sometimes being really upfront about what's your intent here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being real honest.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like DBT involves a lot of being honest with ourselves about like what are we really up to here?
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Yeah,
Yeah.
to really know, I think what are the barriers? How do I troubleshoot? Am I using these as effectively and like fully participating in them?
Yeah. Oh, that fully participating piece. Oh my gosh. So I went to the
Yeah.
doctor this morning
Hmm.
and the doctor's like, "Do you exercise?" Like, I have a dog. And he's like, "Do you walk your dog every day?" I'm like, "Absolutely." "How long?" I'm like, "Oh, I walk my dog for 20 minutes." I was feeling all proud of myself. He's like, he got closer. He's like, "So are you walking your dog fast enough that your heart rate goes up?" He just kind of looked at me. I'm like, sometimes I get sweaty. He's like, "Yeah, but it's summer." It's like I kind of like this guy. He's not letting me off the hook. He's
Yeah.
like, I just want to be real with you. He's like, if you exercise 20 to 30 minutes a day, you'd probably be in a lot better shape. Like actually exercising, not
Hmm.
just going for a walk. And I was like, oh, there is that fully participating thing where you could do like a part of the skill, but not all the way.
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
like, this is a skill. You have to do it all the way. You are putting your face all the way in the water. You're holding a
Hmm.
compress around your neck all the way and just
Hmm.
holding it there. You are exercising until you are starting to sweat, pant a little bit, and
Hmm.
your heart rate goes up. Like those are the things that all the way means.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Where I think sometimes in the moment, people might just try it for a second, dibble
Yeah.
dabble in it, and then
Then
be
I can
like,
tell my
it's not
therapist I
working.
did it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you got picked last for gym class, you can do intense exercise all the way for 20 minutes.
Absolutely. I don't think it has to, be anything super crazy. It can be, jumping rope or, doing some jumping jacks, those kinds
Mhm.
of things.
Yep. Yep. Well, as we close, can we just talk a little bit about how using the tip skills like this helps us make a life worth living?
Yeah. I think one of the main things that we kind of talked about is like just regulating emotions
Yeah.
and kind of being able to get through distressing times or like emotional storms without doing something that you're going to regret,
Yeah.
kind of preserving that life that you're trying to build. I also think it does a good job of like creating space between what it is that you're feeling and how you're then acting or how you're behaving. So lowering that intensity of your emotion is going to then give you the mental space to really then figure out what do I need to do next.
Hmm. Yeah. I think it also gives people a couple things. I think it gives people confidence and hopefulness
Mm-hmm.
that, I can't do anything about the fact that I do feel strong emotions from time to time. And maybe I'm the kind of person that, like, I'm a pretty intense person. That's just
Mm-hmm.
how it is. But that it doesn't have to be the boss of you.
That you're in control
You
rather
can,
than.
yeah, you can be in control.
Mm-hmm.
And to know, like, these are skills that reduce extreme emotion really fast,
Mm-hmm.
like, seconds to minutes.
Absolutely.
That's pretty incredible. And to know, like, oh, they are science based. People have measured to see, is this just like a placebo effect or does it really do something? No, it really does
Absolutely.
something. That
Yeah.
dive reflex is real. Um, so to have that sense of hopefulness that I am not going to have to feel at this level of intensity and just have it run away with my life forever. I have options. I can tell somebody, hey, I need a few minutes before we finish this conversation. You walk in the bathroom and put your face in the water, as kind of goofy as it might sound. Like, if that allows you to come back and have an important conversation, that is such a powerful thing that you've figured out how to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Or that you realize, like, wow, you know what? I need an exercise routine to deal with the stress of work or of life, and I need to just work that in.
Instead of I think a lot of people can make excuses for it, even though they might know that it's helpful, really still being able to add that for their own mental health and physical health.
Yeah. So we hope that this episode helps you understand a little bit more about the tip skill. While it can take a lifetime to master any skill, with practice, it'll get progressively easier over time. We hope that all of you continue doing, being, and thinking in wise ways on your way to making a life worth living. Drew, this was super fun. I enjoyed doing this with you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right. See y'all next time. Take care. Thanks for listening. Doing, Being, Thinking is an educational podcast about dialectical behavior therapy and is not intended as a substitute for therapy. This is a podcast outreach of Adolescent and Family Behavioral Health Services, offering both in-person and telehealth therapy to children, teens, and adults throughout Michigan. If you are a Michigan resident and want to get started with therapy, including DBT, children's DBT, or other evidence-based therapies, please contact us at 616-719-0194 or find us on the web at www.adolescentfamilybhs.com.